Welcome back. I'm doing something a little different today and just doing a quick study on color theory. I am going to make some neutral gray tones using these colors. Basically, I'm using a red and a green, which are opposite from each other on the color wheel. I have some white and some burnt umber brown, and then I just have this little bit of medium. This is all acrylic paint, and so it dries very quickly. And what you'll notice here is that I have a red and then I have a turquoise green, so it does have some hints of blue in it. So as you'll see as the painting goes, it does have a little bit of a purple because again red and blue make purple. But when you mix your greens and your reds, if you don't already know, you will get a neutral gray. And it's a really nice way to get a very rich neutral tone. And then if you want to lighten it, you add some white. And oftentimes if I want to darken it, I will add a burnt umber. So I'm just getting all of these colors onto my little plate here. And I'm going to go ahead and start mixing them up. As many of you know, different paints are have different percentages of pigment. So if you have a red that is heavier pigmented than a green, then you're going to need more green in order to get it to a neutral color, and vice versa. So it always helps to add a little bit of white into the mixture, just to kind of get an idea of where you're at. I wanted to start off creating a very dark color for you, a very dark neutral. And so that's where I'm going to start here as I start putting some swatches down. Of course, it's possible to create these same colors with encaustic paints. I don't have a whole lot of colored encaustic paint. I do have some, but I tend to stick with the white and the clear and the neutral colors with my encaustic. So there are a lot of fabulous artists out there that can make these wonderful colors even with the encaustic paints. I'm just not super practiced at it. And generally speaking, I am very much an abstract artist, so I really enjoy mixing the colors. So as you'll see here, I mixed up that first dark color, and now I'm just adding different levels of white into it to make it lighter. And then as you start playing around, like in this case, I started adding a little more green, and that's just going to darken it back up and give it a more rich gray green tone. And you just kind of keep mixing them until you get the colors that you're looking for. Again, many of you probably already know, but for those of you who may not, if you get a color wheel, the colors that are opposite each other, this works with all of those sets of colors. So you want to keep in mind if you're using an already blended color out of a tube, such as kind of what I did when I picked this turquoise green. It's not a true green. So it will change. You're going to get different colors every time that you try it. But it is a really great way to practice creating some neutral gray tones, taking the colors opposite each other on a color wheel and just kind of start blending them together on your palette. I always find it very just incredibly amazing that you can create so many colors out of just two colors. Again, pretty much I have that red and that green. I do have the white and the brown there, but as you can see, I'm really not using them very often. Well, maybe the white, but not the brown. Really just kind of going back and forth between the red and the green and the white and adding them in different ratios and creating all of these colors. So at this point, I just started kind of laying some of these colors down randomly onto my paper here, and I'm gonna go ahead and paint something up, and then I will just show you how many colors I ended up creating at the end of it. This is a practice that you can do no matter what kind of paints you're using, whether it's encaustic, acrylic, oil paints, watercolor paints, they all work. It doesn't work as well when you're using something like a crayon, because crayons really are not that pigmented. So the better pigmented of a medium that you're using, the more different colors you're going to be able to create. So as you can see, I went ahead and colored the whole paper in, went back in and used a little bit of the red and the green, the turquoise green, and just kind of covered up the white area of my paper that I'm using here. And at this point, going to pull the tape off, and you have a nice little acrylic painting, and you really only used a couple of colors. So I encourage you all to go out and practice creating your neutrals. Use a limited palette and see what you can come up with. Happy painting!